What if a child's genius could challenge the world's greatest minds? It sounds like the start of a fairy tale or a sci-fi script, but that day at the San Francisco Tech Expo, Elon Musk found himself face to face with a reality far stranger, and more extraordinary, than fiction. The hall buzzed with the usual cacophony of flashing screens, excited chatter, and the electric hum of invention. Elon was moving briskly between booths, his mind juggling SpaceX's upcoming launch schedules, Tesla's new battery breakthroughs, and Neuralink's latest testing protocols. He didn't expect anything to disrupt his carefully curated flow, until a small voice pulled him to a sudden halt. "Excuse me, Mr. Musk." The voice belonged to a little girl, barely 5 years old, standing confidently with a tablet clutched in her hand. Her bright eyes were sharp, curious, and fearless. Elon knelt down, puzzled by the boldness of the child amid this sea of adults. "Yes," he asked, intrigued. "Why do you think space is important?" she said, her gaze steady. It was such a simple question, but it hit Elon harder than any technical query or boardroom discussion. The silence stretched for a moment before he answered honestly, "Because it's where humanity's future lies. Exploring space pushes our limits and keeps us moving forward." The girl nodded, then tapped her tablet, showing Elon a complex diagram of what looked like a new propulsion system she had drawn herself. "I think we can do better. I want to help make it happen." Elon blinked, caught off guard. In all his years leading teams of scientists and engineers, no one had ever said something like this to him before, especially not someone so young. The crowd started to gather, sensing something unusual was unfolding. Elon glanced at the girl's mother standing a few feet away, smiling nervously but proud. He straightened and said, "What's your name?" "Ava," she replied. In that instant, Elon felt a mix of curiosity and skepticism swirling inside him. What did a 5-year-old really know about the challenges of space travel? Yet, there was an undeniable spark in her that he couldn't ignore. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Elon asked, addressing the crowd around and, by extension, the millions who would later hear this story. He realized this was not just a moment of chance but the start of something that could change everything. As Ava began explaining her ideas, Elon listened with an intensity rarely seen on his face. The unexpected meeting wasn't just a curiosity, it was the opening to a journey neither of them could have imagined. Behind Ava's confident words was a lifetime of experiences that shaped her unique perspective, and Elon knew that to understand her, he had to look deeper. The story of Ava started not in a sleek Silicon Valley lab but in a small town in Idaho, where a little girl's mind outpaced the world around her. From the moment she could speak, Ava showed signs of a remarkable intellect. She learned to read before most children, devoured books about planets and physics, and spent hours coding simple games on her mother's old laptop. But Ava's early life was not without its shadows. Her mother, a hard-working single parent, often struggled to make ends meet, leaving Ava mostly in the care of her grandmother, a woman full of warmth and old wisdom. The grandmother was Ava's rock, the one who nurtured her curiosity and protected her fragile heart. Ava's father had died in a car accident when she was just a toddler, a loss that left a hole in the family no one could fill. Yet, it was this very absence that drove Ava to reach for the stars. Space was more than just a fascination. It was a promise of something greater, a connection to the father she never really knew. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's own past echoed with similar themes of hardship and determination. Born in South Africa, Elon's childhood was marked by a complicated relationship with his father and a relentless drive to escape limitations. His early years were filled with bullying, loneliness, and a hunger for knowledge that fueled his ambition. He had faced failures, near bankruptcy, and personal losses, but always kept pushing forward, fueled by the vision of a future where humanity would expand beyond Earth. Meeting Ava triggered something deep in Elon, a recognition of himself in this tiny prodigy, and a challenge that reignited his fire. When Elon invited Ava to visit SpaceX headquarters, the young girl stepped into a world far beyond her small town. Engineers and scientists looked on skeptically at first, unsure how to treat a child who spoke in formulas and ideas that made their heads spin. Ava, however, was undeterred. Her bright mind cut through skepticism like a laser, and her insights began to shift the team's perspective. At first, Ava's ideas seemed unconventional. She questioned established methods and proposed untested solutions. Tensions rose as some team members pushed back, doubting the wisdom of taking direction from a 5-year-old. Elon found himself caught in the middle, defending Ava's input while balancing the pressures from investors demanding results. Just as doubt threatened to overwhelm them, a breakthrough came when Ava suggested a modification to the rocket's navigation system that improved precision by an unexpected margin. Hope blossomed in the lab, a fragile light flickering amid the tension. But challenges quickly followed. Rumors and criticism spread through the industry, questioning the legitimacy of a child's involvement in such a high-stakes project. Ava struggled with the weight of attention and her own fears of failure. At her lowest point, just when she considered giving up, Elon's encouragement reminded her why they had started this journey. The project faced technical problems, and a crucial test launch failed spectacularly, leading to public backlash and internal blame. Ava felt responsible, retreating into herself, while Elon wrestled with doubts about the future of the venture. It was Ava's grandmother who helped her find strength again, sharing stories of resilience and sacrifice that reignited the girl's determination. Together, Ava and Elon forged a bond that went beyond mentor and protege. They shared vulnerabilities, hopes, and the weight of dreams. As the media frenzy grew, Ava learned to wield the spotlight, using it not for fame but to inspire a vision of possibility. She stunned audiences with her clarity and courage, leaving even seasoned experts speechless. At the story's emotional climax, Ava proposed a bold plan to colonize Mars using innovative technology. Elon was awestruck but cautious. The company's board was divided, the stakes higher than ever. When sabotage threatened to derail the project, Ava's intelligence and bravery saved the day, solidifying her role as a true leader despite her age. The narrative crescendoed with the successful launch of their rocket, a moment of triumph for the team and a symbol of what can happen when courage meets innovation. Ava's journey taught profound lessons about family, sacrifice, and the limitless potential of the human spirit. Elon reflected on mentorship and legacy, realizing that sometimes the most powerful leaders are those who dare to believe in the youngest voices. As the story closed, Ava revealed a secret about her own origins that left Elon speechless, a twist that hinted this was only the beginning of a new chapter in human exploration. Life is full of surprises, but the spark of curiosity and courage will always lead the way. Ava was no ordinary child. From the dusty, quiet streets of Caldwell, Idaho, her extraordinary mind had always set her apart. Born into a modest household, Ava's early years were shaped by contradictions. Her mother, Clara, a nurse working long shifts to keep the family afloat, was often distant, not out of neglect but exhaustion and worry about the future. Clara's eyes carried the weight of sacrifice, and though she loved Ava deeply, she struggled to provide the attention that a child like Ava needed. It was Ava's grandmother, Rose, who filled that void. Rose was a petite woman with silver hair pulled back in a bun, her wrinkled hands always busy knitting or leafing through old books. She had been a teacher in her younger days and carried an endless well of patience and stories. Rose recognized Ava's rare intelligence early on and nurtured it with quiet encouragement. She would sit with Ava for hours, helping her practice reading, answering impossible questions about stars, physics, and machines. "You have a gift, Ava," Rose would say, "but remember, it's not just the gift, it's how you use it that matters." Ava adored her grandmother, the steady presence in her life, the anchor that kept her grounded despite the whirlwind of her thoughts. Ava's father, David, had died before she was old enough to remember much about him. The car accident that took him away was a silent shadow over the family. Clara rarely spoke of David, but Rose would sometimes share fragments of his passion for the cosmos. David had been an aerospace engineer who dreamed of reaching Mars, and somehow, that dream had passed to Ava. From a very young age, Ava was captivated by space and technology. Her room was cluttered with models of rockets, planets painted on the walls, and shelves heavy with books that were far beyond the usual children's fare. By age 3, she could read chapter books about physics and space exploration. By 4, she was writing simple code on a tablet, creating games and simulations that amazed anyone who saw them. At kindergarten, Ava was often bored. Her teachers called her a gifted child, but struggled to keep up with her rapid learning pace. Ava's social skills lagged behind her intellect. She preferred the company of her books and gadgets to that of her peers. Though she was small and soft-spoken, her mind was a whirlwind of ideas and theories. Many nights, Ava would lie awake staring at the stars from her bedroom window, imagining a future where humans could live on other planets. She dreamed of designing spacecraft that could make that possible. But despite her brilliance, Ava faced loneliness. At school, other children didn't quite understand her, and sometimes she felt invisible or awkward. Her only true companion was the idea of her father, the man she never really knew but felt deeply connected to through her fascination with space. Clara did her best but was often torn between working extra shifts and trying to manage her own fears for Ava's future. Clara worried that Ava's intellect would isolate her even more and that the world wasn't ready for a child so far ahead of her time. Sometimes, Clara wondered if Ava's brilliance was a burden, a lonely path that might lead to heartbreak. It was Rose who kept the family hope alive. She encouraged Ava not just to think but to feel, to connect with people, and to be kind. Rose's stories about love, sacrifice, and resilience helped Ava understand that life was more than equations and inventions, it was about relationships and the courage to keep going. One crisp autumn day, Ava was sitting on the porch steps when Rose handed her an old, leather-bound notebook that had belonged to David. Inside were sketches, notes, and dreams of rocket designs and missions to Mars. Ava's eyes sparkled as she flipped through the pages. "This was his dream," Rose said softly. "And maybe, it can be yours too." Ava clutched the notebook close and made a silent vow to carry that dream forward. The years that followed were a blur of rapid learning and growing challenges. By age 5, Ava was coding software that helped her grandmother manage the household budget and designing simple circuits that lit up small models of spacecraft. Neighbors marveled at her talents, but some whispered that it was strange for a child to be so advanced. At school, teachers tried to challenge her, but the curriculum was too slow, and Ava quickly outpaced the lessons. Socially, she remained shy but determined. She loved her grandmother's stories and her mother's occasional smiles, but there was a restlessness inside her, a hunger to explore, to create, and to prove that age was no barrier to brilliance. This restless spirit brought Ava to the attention of a local science fair, where she presented a project that simulated a Mars colony's life support system using homemade sensors and recycled materials. The judges were stunned, not just by her technical skills but by the vision behind her project, a future where humans could survive and thrive on another planet. The science fair caught the eye of a visiting journalist, who wrote an article that soon went viral online. Ava became a sensation overnight, a 5-year-old prodigy with a mind that challenged experts twice her age. But fame brought new challenges. Ava was suddenly thrust into a world of media attention that confused and overwhelmed her. Questions about her future, the pressure to perform, and the expectations of adults weighed heavily on her small shoulders. Through it all, Rose remained her steadfast guide, reminding Ava to take things one step at a time and to hold on to her love for discovery. At home, the family dynamics were complicated. Clara was proud but fearful. She wanted Ava to have a normal childhood, but also knew her daughter's gifts couldn't be ignored. The sacrifices Clara made to support Ava's talents often went unnoticed, but they came at a cost, a life filled with long hours and worry. Yet, through every struggle and triumph, Ava's mind never stopped reaching for the stars. And then came the day of the San Francisco Tech Expo, the event that would change everything. At the expo, Ava's confidence shone. She navigated the crowd with curiosity, sharing her ideas and answering questions that left seasoned engineers astonished. When she finally met Elon Musk, the man she had read so much about, there was no awe, no hesitation, only the quiet determination to be heard and understood. That brief encounter sparked something in both of them. For Ava, it was the beginning of a chance to turn dreams into reality on a scale she had never imagined. For Elon, it was a reminder that innovation sometimes comes from the most unexpected places, and that true genius can't be measured by age. Behind Ava's precocious mind was a complex child shaped by love, loss, and relentless curiosity. Her story was not just one of talent but of resilience and hope. It was the story of a little girl who, despite everything, believed in a future where anything was possible. And as the world watched, that belief began to ripple outward, challenging assumptions and lighting a path toward the unknown. The excitement around Ava's sudden rise was electric, but with it came tension that no one had fully anticipated. Elon Musk, a man used to bold ideas and high-stakes gambles, found himself navigating a minefield of skepticism and resistance. The initial meeting at the San Francisco Tech Expo had been almost surreal, a 5-year-old presenting ideas that challenged seasoned engineers. Yet, as the days passed and Elon considered what he'd witnessed, he felt a rare spark of hope mixed with unease. Back at SpaceX headquarters, Elon brought Ava in to share her ideas with the engineering team. The atmosphere in the room was thick with curiosity but also doubt. Some engineers exchanged sideways glances, struggling to hide their disbelief that a child could contribute meaningfully to one of the most complex technological projects in the world. Ava, undeterred, began explaining her concept for an improved rocket navigation system, a system that used a novel algorithm she had coded herself, inspired by patterns she observed in bird migrations and weather systems. Her words were clear and confident, yet her youth was undeniable. Elon stood beside her, fielding the skeptics with calm reassurance. "Let's give her a chance to explain," he said, his voice steady. "Genius isn't bound by age." The engineers reluctantly listened as Ava laid out her proposal with diagrams and simulations she'd developed at home. Slowly, doubt gave way to intrigue. The algorithm was unconventional, but preliminary tests showed promise. It offered a new approach to route optimization that could reduce fuel consumption and improve safety margins. Yet, the breakthrough came with conflict. The team was divided. Some engineers saw Ava's work as a potential game-changer, while others viewed it as a naive distraction from tried-and-true methods. Meetings grew heated. Frustrations boiled over when Ava, in her blunt honesty, questioned the established protocols, unintentionally offending senior members. Elon found himself playing mediator, balancing the fragile hopes of innovation with the harsh realities of corporate politics. Investors were watching closely, and the pressure to deliver results mounted. The media, initially fascinated by the novelty of a child prodigy, started raising doubts. Headlines questioned whether SpaceX was jeopardizing its reputation by involving someone so young in critical decisions. Ava, feeling the weight of scrutiny, retreated inward. The spotlight that once energized her now felt like a spotlight of judgment. At home, Clara noticed the change in her daughter. Ava was quieter, less eager to share her ideas, and sometimes overwhelmed by frustration. Rose, ever the wise guide, encouraged Ava to remember why she had started this journey. "Innovation is never easy, dear," she told her, "but every challenge is an opportunity to grow." Meanwhile, Elon was facing his own battles. The board at SpaceX grew restless. The recent failure of a test launch had shaken confidence, and whispers of internal sabotage circulated. Ava's involvement was being used by critics as a scapegoat. Elon, however, believed in the girl's potential. He arranged for a private meeting with Ava, away from the chaos of the company and the media. In the quiet of his office, he told her, "Great ideas often face resistance. What matters is that you keep pushing forward. The world isn't ready for every breakthrough right away." Encouraged, Ava found new resolve. She worked tirelessly with the engineers who supported her, refining her algorithm and testing new models. Slowly, the project began to gain traction. The navigation system showed improved accuracy and efficiency, sparking a renewed optimism within the team. Yet, the climax cycle continued. Just as progress was underway, an unexpected challenge emerged. A cyber attack targeted SpaceX's data systems, threatening to steal proprietary information and disrupt operations. The sabotage shook everyone, but Ava's quick thinking helped contain the breach. Using her coding skills, she identified the attack pattern and suggested countermeasures that minimized damage. This act of bravery and intelligence silenced many critics and cemented her role on the team. But the emotional toll was heavy. Ava grappled with the realization that the path to innovation was fraught with danger and uncertainty. She questioned whether she was ready for such responsibility. Elon, seeing her struggle, shared his own story of failures and setbacks. "Every time I failed, I learned something new," he said. "You're not alone in this." As the project moved forward, Ava began to develop stronger bonds with the team. Engineers who had been skeptical started to respect her insights and admired her determination. The initial discord transformed into collaboration. Ava's youthful perspective injected fresh ideas that challenged conventional thinking and led to breakthroughs in propulsion and fuel efficiency. At the same time, the media's narrative shifted. Ava was no longer just a child prodigy, she was becoming a leader, a symbol of what happens when courage and intelligence unite. Interviews with Ava revealed a maturity beyond her years, inspiring people worldwide. Through it all, Ava's relationship with Elon deepened. He became a mentor and protector, guiding her through the complexities of innovation and leadership. He recognized that her journey was not just about technology but about growing up under intense pressure and public scrutiny. This realization led Elon to advocate for Ava's well-being, insisting on measures to support her mental health and balance her life beyond work. The stakes grew higher when Ava proposed an ambitious idea: a complete redesign of the rocket's life support system using sustainable materials inspired by nature. The concept was revolutionary but risky, requiring time and resources that the company could ill afford. The board was divided again. Some saw the vision, others feared the gamble. Elon stood firmly behind Ava, pushing for a pilot program. The emotional tension peaked when the first prototype failed spectacularly during testing, leading to equipment damage and costly delays. Public criticism intensified. Ava felt crushed, doubting whether she had what it took. In this darkest moment, hope re-emerged. Ava's grandmother visited her with stories of resilience, tales from her own life during tough times and the importance of sacrifice for a greater good. Ava found strength in those words and rededicated herself to the project. She worked with the team to analyze failures, adapt designs, and improve the system. The collaborative effort led to success. The redesigned life support system passed rigorous tests and promised to make future missions safer and more sustainable. The victory marked a turning point. Ava had not only proven her technical genius but also her ability to lead through adversity. Her growth from a shy, brilliant child into a confident innovator inspired everyone around her. Elon reflected on the journey, recognizing that mentoring Ava had changed him too. He had learned to listen differently, to value perspectives beyond the norm, and to embrace the unknown. As the chapter closed, Ava stood at a crossroads. The world awaited her next move, and she was ready to take on even greater challenges. The story was far from over. What began as a chance encounter had blossomed into a profound partnership, one that held the promise to reshape humanity's future. Ava's journey was a testament to the power of courage, resilience, and the unyielding pursuit of dreams. Ava's world shifted dramatically after the success of the life support system redesign. What began as a modest project grew into an ambitious mission to redefine space travel itself. Elon Musk, captivated by her fearless creativity, proposed an unprecedented collaboration. Ava would join a secret task force dedicated to developing the next-generation spacecraft, one that could truly enable human colonization of Mars. The announcement sent ripples through the tech community. Many hailed it as visionary, others dismissed it as a reckless gamble on a child's ideas. But Elon stood firm. Innovation doesn't follow rules, he declared. Ava, though still only 5, was thrust into a new realm of discovery and challenge. The task force operated in a sprawling facility on the outskirts of Hawthorne, California, a high-tech playground filled with engineers, designers, and scientists, all driven by a singular mission. Ava marveled at the massive rocket engines, the gleaming control panels, and the walls covered in complex formulas and schematics. Each day was an adventure, filled with hands-on experiments and brainstorming sessions that stretched her imagination. One morning, Ava arrived to find a problem that had stumped the entire team for weeks. The spacecraft's thermal regulation system was failing during simulations, causing dangerous overheating in critical components. The engineers were frustrated and exhausted. Ava sat quietly, observing the data on the screens. Drawing from her earlier studies of natural systems, she proposed a radical idea inspired by termite mounds, which regulate temperature through intricate ventilation tunnels. Using recycled materials and bio-inspired designs, she sketched a prototype of a passive cooling system that mimicked nature's ingenuity. The room fell silent as Ava explained her concept, her voice steady and confident despite her youth. Elon listened intently, eyes narrowing in thought. The engineers exchanged uncertain glances but agreed to test the design. The prototype worked beyond expectations, stabilizing temperatures without the need for heavy machinery or excessive energy consumption. The breakthrough reignited the team's energy and validated Ava's unique approach to problem solving. But the journey was far from smooth. As Ava's influence grew, so did resistance from some corners. Certain senior engineers resented the idea of a child leading critical innovations, fearing the disruption of established protocols. Meetings grew tense, and whispers of dissent circulated. Ava, though still young, learned quickly how to navigate these waters. She found allies in unexpected places, junior engineers inspired by her vision, young interns eager to support her projects, and even some senior scientists who admired her courage. Elon continued to shield her from undue pressure, arranging private sessions to coach her through difficult conversations and leadership challenges. Meanwhile, the project faced external hurdles. Funding became precarious as investors grew impatient with the timeline and the unconventional methods. Competitors seized on the controversy surrounding Ava's involvement to question the project's viability. The media frenzy intensified, often portraying Ava as either a prodigy savior or a reckless enfant terrible. In the midst of this storm, Ava's personal life remained fragile. The relentless schedule strained her relationship with Clara and Rose, who struggled to balance support with concern for her well-being. Clara's guilt deepened as she saw her daughter grow up faster than any child should. Rose offered quiet wisdom, reminding Ava of the importance of rest and reflection, even amidst chaos. One evening, after a long day of testing and setbacks, Ava sat on the roof of the facility, staring at the stars. Elon joined her, sharing stories of his own childhood dreams and the fears he faced in pursuit of them. Sometimes, he said softly, the hardest journeys are the ones worth taking. Ava nodded, feeling a surge of determination. She knew the path ahead would be filled with challenges, but she was ready to face them. The task force's efforts culminated in a pivotal test flight of the prototype spacecraft, equipped with Ava's innovations. The countdown was broadcast live, drawing millions of viewers worldwide. As the rocket soared into the sky, the team held their breath. The flight was mostly smooth, but midway, a sudden drop in pressure in the life support system triggered alarms. Panic rippled through the control room. Ava's heart pounded as she analyzed the data in real time. Drawing on her deep understanding of the systems, she identified a faulty valve that had gone unnoticed during inspections. Quickly, she instructed the team to activate a manual override protocol she had designed as a precaution. The crisis was averted. The spacecraft stabilized and completed its orbit successfully. Cheers erupted, but the near disaster served as a sobering reminder of the stakes. In the aftermath, Ava was praised for her quick thinking and composure under pressure. The incident brought the team closer together, fostering a new respect for the young prodigy whose insight had saved the mission. However, the emotional toll was significant. Ava grappled with feelings of doubt and responsibility. The fear of failure haunted her dreams. Elon continued to mentor her, emphasizing the importance of resilience and learning from mistakes. As the mission advanced, Ava found herself increasingly involved in strategic decisions, shaping the future of space exploration. She formed close friendships with several engineers, particularly Maya, a robotics specialist who became both a collaborator and confidant. Together, they pushed the boundaries of what was possible, designing robotic systems to assist astronauts in harsh extraterrestrial environments. Ava's vision expanded beyond Mars. She dreamed of interstellar travel, of humanity becoming a multiplanetary species capable of reaching distant stars. Each breakthrough fueled her imagination and resolve. But amidst the soaring ambitions, Ava never forgot her roots. She often thought of her grandmother's lessons about love, sacrifice, and hope. These values grounded her, reminding her that technology was a tool to serve humanity, not the other way around. As the chapter drew to a close, the project was poised on the brink of a historic milestone, the launch of a manned mission to Mars using Ava's systems. The world watched with anticipation and skepticism. Ava, now a symbol of innovation and youthful genius, stood ready to take her place in history. The journey from a quiet child in Idaho to the forefront of space exploration was nothing short of extraordinary. But the greatest challenges, and revelations, were still ahead. The countdown to the manned Mars mission was unlike anything Ava had ever experienced. The world's eyes were on the team, their hopes and fears tangled in every heartbeat of the spacecraft. Months of preparation had led to this moment, and though Ava was still a child, the weight on her small shoulders was immense. The crew, a select group of seasoned astronauts, trusted the systems Ava had helped design, but they also knew the mission's risks were enormous. In the sterile control room, surrounded by blinking monitors and tense faces, Ava sat next to Elon Musk, who was unusually quiet, watching every data point with sharp focus. The spacecraft, named Pioneer, stood tall on the launch pad, a gleaming monument to human ambition and Ava's brilliance. As the engines roared to life, Ava's heart pounded in rhythm with the vibrations beneath her feet. The liftoff was flawless. For hours, the team tracked Pioneer's trajectory as it accelerated beyond Earth's atmosphere. Ava's algorithm continuously adjusted navigation parameters to account for solar winds and gravitational forces, her code adapting in real time with precision and care. But then, as the spacecraft approached the halfway point to Mars, the unthinkable happened. A critical sensor failed, sending false data that triggered the onboard systems to initiate an emergency shutdown of the main engines. Panic erupted in mission control. Without the engines firing properly, the spacecraft would drift off course, jeopardizing the entire mission. Ava's mind raced. She knew every line of code, every system detail. Calmly, she analyzed the sensor readings, realizing the data was corrupted but the sensor itself was still functioning physically. Quickly, she proposed a risky manual override, bypassing the faulty sensor and relying on secondary data inputs to stabilize the engines. The team hesitated. The override was untested and carried significant risks. Elon turned to Ava, seeking assurance. "Are you sure this will work?" he asked softly. Ava met his gaze, steady despite the gravity of the situation. "It's the best option we have," she said. "We have to try." With the override activated, the engines roared back to life, stabilizing the craft. Relief flooded the control room. The crisis was averted, but the close call exposed vulnerabilities in the spacecraft's design. Determined to learn from the experience, Ava led a comprehensive review of all systems, identifying potential failure points and spearheading upgrades that improved safety and reliability. The incident became a defining moment for Ava. It was her emotional climax, not just a technical victory but a profound realization of her own resilience and responsibility. She felt the weight of lives depending on her work and understood that brilliance alone was not enough. Humility, courage, and perseverance were equally vital. As the spacecraft neared Mars, anticipation grew. The team prepared for the complex landing sequence, where every calculation had to be perfect. Ava's navigation systems guided the descent, adjusting thrusters and angles with delicate precision. The tension was palpable. Finally, Pioneer touched down on the Martian surface, sending back the first clear images of the red landscape. Cheers erupted worldwide. Ava's smile was radiant but tinged with exhaustion and awe. The mission was a success, a testament to human ingenuity and Ava's extraordinary contribution. Yet, as she looked at the images, she felt a mix of triumph and sadness. The distance from Earth was staggering, and the reality of isolation hit her deeply. The astronauts would face months of hardship and uncertainty. Ava's mind turned to the future, how to improve life support systems, communication delays, and psychological support for explorers in such extreme environments. Elon praised her leadership and vision, calling her the heart and brain of the mission. In private moments, he shared his own fears and hopes, creating a rare bond of mentor and protege. The public response was overwhelming. Ava became a global icon, inspiring young minds and igniting interest in STEM fields worldwide. Schools invited her to speak, media outlets featured her story, and she received awards that acknowledged not just her intelligence but her courage and character. But the fame also brought challenges. Ava struggled with the pressure to be perfect, to always have answers. She missed the simplicity of her childhood, the quiet moments with Rose and the comforting presence of Clara. The balance between public life and personal growth was fragile. Throughout this period, Ava remained grounded by the lessons from her family and Elon's steady guidance. She embraced the idea that failure and vulnerability were part of growth. This perspective shaped her next bold move, advocating for more inclusive and supportive environments in technology and exploration. Ava began collaborating with educational organizations to develop programs that nurtured creativity and resilience in children from all backgrounds. She believed that talent could be found anywhere and that barriers must be broken down. Meanwhile, SpaceX set its sights on even greater ambitions, establishing permanent habitats on Mars and pushing towards interstellar travel. Ava played a crucial role in designing robotic assistants, energy systems, and sustainable agriculture modules for off-world colonies. Each innovation was a step toward making the impossible possible. The journey was far from over. Ava's story was a tapestry of hope and hardship, brilliance and humanity. The emotional climax of landing on Mars was just one chapter in a lifelong mission to push the boundaries of what humanity could achieve. As the story moved toward resolution, Ava reflected on the lessons learned, that love, family, and sacrifice were the true engines driving progress. The final message was clear: no matter how far we reach into the cosmos, the heart remains the center of every journey. After the triumphant Mars landing, Ava found herself at a crossroads unlike any other. Though celebrated worldwide as a prodigy and pioneer, she was still just a child with a growing sense of self and a deep desire to understand her place in the universe. The monumental achievement brought a mixture of exhilaration and loneliness, as the spotlight grew brighter and the expectations heavier. Back on Earth, Elon Musk and the SpaceX team celebrated the milestone, but they also faced the sobering reality of the next phase, building a sustainable human presence on Mars. The task was enormous. Ava was invited to join a new project, a collaborative effort with NASA and international space agencies to develop the first Martian habitat. The initiative was to design not just technology but a living ecosystem that could support astronauts for years. Ava's role was pivotal. Her fresh perspectives on nature-inspired engineering and human-centered design influenced the project from the start. However, the excitement was tempered by the complexity of the challenge. The habitat needed to withstand harsh conditions, extreme temperatures, radiation, dust storms, while providing comfort and security. Ava immersed herself in the problem, drawing upon lessons from Earth's ecosystems, indigenous architecture, and cutting-edge materials science. As she dove deeper into research, Ava encountered ethical questions about colonization, environmental impact, and the responsibilities humanity bore when reaching new worlds. These reflections added layers to her young but rapidly maturing worldview. Elon, recognizing Ava's thoughtful nature, encouraged her to explore these themes openly. He believed that technology without wisdom could be dangerous. During long strategy sessions, Ava proposed integrating mental health support into the habitat's design, spaces for meditation, art, and social interaction, understanding that survival was as much psychological as physical. Her suggestions were met with admiration and some skepticism. Space exploration was often seen as cold and technical, but Ava's vision reintroduced warmth and humanity. As the design phase progressed, Ava formed close bonds with the international team. She connected with Dr. Raj Patel, a biologist specializing in extremophile organisms, whose passion for life in harsh environments inspired Ava. Together, they envisioned bioengineered plants that could purify air and recycle waste, creating a self-sustaining loop. The collaboration deepened Ava's appreciation for interdisciplinary work and the power of teamwork. Yet, the path was not without setbacks. Funding constraints and political tensions threatened the project's continuity. Public interest waned as controversies over priorities and costs intensified. Ava, feeling the weight of these external pressures, struggled to keep the momentum alive. Her personal life became a refuge. Time spent with Clara and Rose reminded her of simple joys, a walk in the park, baking cookies, stories shared at bedtime. These moments nurtured her spirit and kept her grounded amid the whirlwind. At school, Ava was both admired and isolated. Her extraordinary achievements set her apart, making peer relationships challenging. Teachers struggled to balance her advanced intellect with her need for normal childhood experiences. Ava's quiet resilience helped her navigate these complexities. One afternoon, while working late in the lab, Ava experienced a sudden wave of exhaustion and doubt. The enormity of the mission and the sacrifices required overwhelmed her. She confided in Elon, who shared his own struggles with burnout and the importance of self-care. Their conversations grew into a mentorship rooted not just in knowledge but in empathy and trust. Around this time, a new challenge emerged that tested Ava's leadership and vision. A rival company announced a competing Mars habitat project, promising faster timelines and flashy technology but lacking sustainability plans. The media coverage sparked public debate, fueling competition that risked fragmenting efforts and resources. Ava and Elon decided to respond not with rivalry but collaboration, proposing a joint summit to unite stakeholders and share knowledge. The initiative was a bold move toward cooperation over conflict. The summit was a turning point. Diverse voices from governments, corporations, scientists, and advocates converged to forge a common path forward. Ava's presentation on human-centered design and the integration of mental health and environmental ethics captivated the audience. Her youthful voice carried the weight of wisdom beyond her years. The outcome was a groundbreaking agreement to pool resources and expertise, accelerating progress while maintaining ethical standards. The success revitalized Ava's confidence and reignited global enthusiasm for Mars colonization. As the project moved into construction phases, Ava continued to grow both technically and personally. She faced new responsibilities, managing teams and navigating complex logistics. The pressures tested her patience and resilience, but her supportive circle, Elon, Clara, Rose, and friends, provided stability. The story of a 5-year-old prodigy had evolved into the journey of a young woman becoming a leader and visionary. Throughout, Ava never lost sight of the core lesson she'd learned early on, that love, family, and sacrifice were inseparable from progress. Her work was not just about reaching new worlds but about ensuring that humanity's expansion was guided by compassion and respect. The chapter closes with Ava standing at the window of the new habitat prototype, gazing at the stars with quiet determination. The path ahead was long and uncertain, but she was ready to face it. Her journey embodied the spirit of discovery and the promise of a future where courage and kindness would lead the way. The prototype habitat stood like a beacon of hope amid the stark desert landscape of Nevada, a testing ground for humanity's dreams to thrive on Mars. Ava had spent months helping to design every detail, from the breathable air filtration systems to the cozy living quarters that would shelter future explorers. The harsh desert environment was the perfect stand-in for Mars, its red sands and brutal sun a constant reminder of the challenges ahead. On the morning of the first full-scale simulation, Ava arrived early, the crisp air buzzing with anticipation. She wore a simple jumpsuit, sleeves rolled up, ready to tackle whatever the day would bring. Elon was already there, pacing near the entrance, his eyes scanning the horizon as if imagining the real Martian surface. The simulation would test every system: power generation, water recycling, food production, communication delays, everything that could make or break survival on another planet. The volunteer crew, a group of scientists and engineers handpicked for their skills and resilience, prepared to spend 2 weeks sealed inside the habitat, living as if Mars were their new home. Ava's heart raced as the countdown began. She had programmed much of the habitat's automated systems and was ready to monitor and troubleshoot. As the crew sealed the airlock and the habitat hummed to life, Ava and Elon watched through the observation windows. For the first few days, everything went smoothly. The crew adapted quickly, managing their schedules and daily routines with surprising ease. The hydroponic garden flourished under artificial lights, producing fresh greens and herbs that lifted everyone's spirits. But on day 5, unexpected problems surfaced. A sudden malfunction in the water filtration unit caused a drop in water pressure, triggering alarms. The crew scrambled to conserve water while Ava and the engineers raced to diagnose the fault remotely. The complexity of the system meant the problem was not easily fixed. Ava's mind worked rapidly, analyzing data and considering alternatives. She recalled a backup filtration design she had toyed with: simpler, less efficient but more reliable. With Elon's approval, the team switched to the backup system, stabilizing water supply but forcing them to ration carefully. The crew's morale dipped, the tight quarters and constant challenges wearing on everyone's nerves. Ava realized that technology alone couldn't solve all problems. The human element was just as critical. She suggested introducing scheduled, mental health breaks, times when the crew could engage in relaxing activities, communicate with loved ones on Earth despite delays, or simply rest without tasks. The team embraced the idea, noting improvements in mood and cooperation. As the days passed, the simulation revealed more lessons. Dust storms simulated by powerful fans battering the habitat tested its seals and filtration. Power fluctuations challenged the energy management system, pushing Ava to refine the solar panel arrays and battery storage algorithms. Each obstacle was a puzzle that Ava tackled with determination and creativity, often working late into the night alongside her growing circle of collaborators. Outside the habitat, Clara and Rose visited frequently, offering encouragement and reminding Ava to take care of herself. Clara's eyes brimmed with pride but also concern, watching how deeply Ava invested herself in the project. Rose, ever the steady presence, helped balance Ava's intensity with moments of lightheartedness and reflection. The bond between the three women strengthened, a foundation of love and sacrifice that buoyed Ava through the toughest days. Midway through the simulation, a sudden health scare jolted everyone. One crew member, Dr. Simon Wells, developed a high fever and signs of dehydration. Though protocols were in place, the isolation and delay in communication with Earth made diagnosis and treatment complicated. Ava coordinated with medical experts via delayed transmissions, helping to adjust care plans and ensuring the habitat's medical bay was prepared. The incident underscored the fragility of life in such environments and the importance of robust support systems. It was a sobering reminder that behind every technical achievement lay human vulnerability. Through these trials, Ava's leadership blossomed. She learned to listen deeply, communicate clearly, and inspire confidence even when outcomes were uncertain. Elon observed her transformation with admiration, noting how the child prodigy was becoming a true leader, one who blended intellect with empathy. The final days of the simulation were marked by celebration and reflection. The crew emerged from the habitat, weary but triumphant. Data collected was invaluable, highlighting both strengths and weaknesses in the design. Ava and the team presented their findings to an audience of scientists, engineers, and space enthusiasts, sharing insights that would shape the next generation of Martian habitats. As the sun set over the desert, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Ava stood with Elon, Clara, and Rose, gazing at the horizon. The journey from a curious child tinkering with circuits to a visionary shaping humanity's future had been extraordinary. But Ava knew this was only the beginning. The dream of reaching Mars was no longer a distant fantasy, it was a living, breathing reality forged through innovation, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of exploration. And at its heart was a young girl whose courage and compassion had left even Elon Musk speechless. After the success of the Nevada habitat simulation, Ava's reputation soared beyond the scientific community and into popular culture. Her story became a symbol of youthful genius and human perseverance, but with this newfound fame came unexpected challenges. Ava found herself thrust into a whirlwind of interviews, public appearances, and speaking engagements. Each event required her to present complex ideas simply and inspire diverse audiences, from policymakers to schoolchildren. Despite the exhaustion, Ava embraced the opportunity to share her vision of exploration grounded in empathy and collaboration. Yet, beneath the surface, she grappled with an internal conflict: how to maintain authenticity amid the expectations and media spotlight. She longed for genuine connections and moments of quiet reflection, which often eluded her in the public eye. Meanwhile, Elon Musk remained a steady anchor. Their relationship evolved beyond mentor and protege into one of mutual respect and friendship. Elon admired Ava's ability to navigate the pressures of fame with grace and reminded her that true innovation often required solitude and introspection. He encouraged her to carve out time for herself, to nurture the curiosity that had sparked their first encounter years ago. Ava began to explore creative outlets outside of science, painting, writing poetry, even learning to play the piano. These activities enriched her emotional world and provided balance to her intense technical focus. One day, during a quiet afternoon at her home, Ava received an unexpected invitation to join a global summit on climate change and sustainable technology. The event would gather leaders from around the world to address urgent environmental challenges, blending technology, policy, and community action. Ava saw a new opportunity to extend her impact beyond space exploration and apply her talents to healing Earth. At the summit, Ava delivered a keynote that resonated deeply with attendees. She spoke not only about cutting-edge technologies for carbon capture and renewable energy but also about the necessity of integrating indigenous knowledge and cultural wisdom into environmental solutions. Her message was clear: technology alone could not save the planet without respect for people and ecosystems. The response was overwhelming. Delegates praised her insightful approach, and Ava was invited to join a task force dedicated to developing youth-led environmental initiatives. Working with young activists and scientists worldwide, Ava helped design programs that empowered communities to implement sustainable practices tailored to local needs. The experience broadened her perspective and deepened her commitment to social responsibility. However, the increasing demands of her career and advocacy work strained her relationships. Ava felt the distance growing between herself and Clara, who worried about the toll on her daughter's well-being. Rose provided unwavering support, acting as a confidant and grounding force, but even their close bond was tested by Ava's relentless pace. In moments of vulnerability, Ava confided her fears of losing herself to the whirlwind of expectations and losing touch with the simple joys that once fueled her passion. One evening, after a particularly intense day, Ava found herself alone in her room, overwhelmed by the weight of it all. She reached for a notebook and began to write poems, sketches, reflections, a stream of consciousness that helped her untangle her emotions. This act of self-expression became a lifeline, reminding her that creativity and vulnerability were sources of strength, not weakness. Encouraged by this insight, Ava began advocating openly for mental health awareness within the STEM community. She spoke candidly about the pressures faced by young innovators and the importance of supportive networks. Her honesty sparked important conversations and fostered a culture of openness and care. As Eva balanced her expanding roles, a new project emerged that captured her imagination, designing an educational platform combining artificial intelligence with experiential learning to inspire children worldwide to pursue science and compassion hand in hand. Collaborating with educators, technologists, and artists, Eva helped develop interactive modules that personalized learning experiences and encouraged critical thinking, creativity, and emotional intelligence. The platform launched to enthusiastic reception, with schools integrating it into their curricula and families embracing it as a tool for growth and connection. Through this project, Eva found renewed purpose and hope, knowing that the next generation could be empowered to build a better, kinder future. Throughout these years, Elon remained a guiding presence. He often reminded Eva that breakthroughs came not only from breakthroughs in technology but from breakthroughs in understanding ourselves and each other. Their conversations grew deeper, exploring philosophical questions about humanity's place in the universe, the meaning of progress, and the role of love and sacrifice in shaping destiny. One afternoon, while watching a sunset from Elon's rooftop, Eva reflected on the journey that had brought her from a curious 5-year-old tinkering with circuits to a visionary leader influencing global change. She realized that the most profound lessons came not from accolades or achievements but from the relationships that nurtured her growth and the courage to embrace vulnerability. As she prepared to embark on the next chapter, one that might take her beyond Earth and into the stars once more, Eva carried with her a simple but powerful truth, that the greatest discoveries begin within, fueled by love, resilience, and the unwavering belief that even the smallest voices can leave the deepest impact. As Eva's influence grew, so did the scope of her ambitions. Now a recognized thought leader in science, technology, and social advocacy, she found herself at the forefront of a movement to redefine humanity's relationship with technology and the cosmos. Yet despite the whirlwind of her public life, Eva's curiosity remained deeply personal, a hunger to understand not only how things worked but why they mattered. One crisp autumn morning, Elon invited Eva to a confidential meeting at SpaceX headquarters, signaling the start of a new venture that promised to challenge everything they had accomplished so far. Inside a sleek conference room filled with glowing models of spacecraft and habitats, Elon outlined a daring proposal: the launch of the first-ever crewed mission to Europa, Jupiter's icy moon, believed to harbor a subsurface ocean that might hold clues to extraterrestrial life. The mission was unprecedented in complexity and danger, pushing the boundaries of human exploration beyond Mars and the asteroid belt. Eva's eyes lit up with excitement and apprehension. The mission offered a chance to unlock mysteries that could redefine humanity's understanding of life in the universe, but the stakes were monumental. The journey to Europa would take years, requiring innovations in propulsion, life support, radiation shielding, and autonomous systems. Moreover, the crew would face profound isolation and unknown hazards, demanding psychological resilience and adaptability. Eva was invited to lead the design of the mission's habitat module, a task that fused her expertise in engineering, biology, and human factors. She began by assembling a multidisciplinary team, including experts in astrobiology, robotics, psychology, and environmental systems. Together, they envisioned a habitat that was not only technologically advanced but also nurturing, a place that supported physical health, mental well-being, and creative expression. Eva's design incorporated dynamic lighting systems to mimic Earth's natural rhythms, virtual reality spaces for immersive experiences, and modular rooms that could be reconfigured for different activities. The habitat would also feature an experimental bioregenerative life support system, integrating algae and microbial communities to recycle air, water, and nutrients, inspired by Earth's ecosystems. As the design phase progressed, Eva faced challenges that tested her resolve and ingenuity. One major hurdle was developing radiation shielding capable of protecting the crew from Jupiter's intense magnetic field. Conventional materials were heavy and impractical for long-duration missions. Eva and her team explored innovative solutions, including hydrogen-rich polymers and electromagnetic fields generated by superconducting coils. The research pushed the frontiers of material science and engineering, requiring partnerships with universities and private firms. Meanwhile, Ava remained attuned to the human dimension of the mission. She organized workshops with psychologists and astronauts to understand the emotional and cognitive demands of deep space travel. Their insights influenced everything from habitat layout to communication protocols and emergency procedures. Ava also advocated for training programs that emphasized mindfulness, social cohesion, and creative problem solving, recognizing that psychological resilience would be as crucial as physical health. Outside the technical sphere, Ava's growing visibility attracted both admiration and scrutiny. Some critics questioned the wisdom of such an ambitious mission, citing risks and costs. Others worried about the ethical implications of exploring a potentially habitable moon, raising concerns about contamination and preservation. Ava welcomed these debates, viewing them as essential to responsible exploration. She engaged openly with critics and supporters alike, emphasizing transparency, ethical stewardship, and the pursuit of knowledge balanced with caution. Throughout the intense months of preparation, Ava maintained close contact with Clara and Rose, drawing strength from their love and grounding presence. They reminded her of the importance of balance and self-care amid the relentless pace. Ava learned to set boundaries, carving out moments of rest and reflection even as deadlines loomed. On the day the mission contract was officially signed, Ava felt a mixture of exhilaration and gravity. The dream of reaching Europa was no longer abstract, it was an imminent reality shaped by countless hours of work, collaboration, and sacrifice. The launch window was set for 3 years ahead, allowing time for final construction, testing, and crew training. In the meantime, Ava's team continued refining the habitat prototype, conducting simulations and stress tests to ensure reliability and safety. The project attracted international attention and cooperation, drawing resources and expertise from multiple space agencies and private partners. As preparations advanced, Ava reflected on the journey that had led her here, from the curious child captivated by stars to the visionary shaping humanity's next giant leap. The mission to Europa symbolized more than exploration, it embodied the human spirit's relentless quest for meaning and connection beyond our terrestrial home. In quiet moments, Ava pondered the mysteries that might lie beneath Europa's icy crust and what discoveries awaited humanity on that distant moon. She felt humbled by the vastness of the cosmos and the fragile beauty of life on Earth. The chapter closes with Ava standing beneath a star-filled sky, the glow of distant Jupiter faintly visible, a symbol of the uncharted frontier ahead. Her heart brimmed with hope, determination, and the unshakable belief that the journey itself, filled with love, sacrifice, and discovery, was the greatest adventure of all. The countdown to the Europa mission launch was a whirlwind of preparation, excitement, and unforeseen challenges that tested every facet of Ava's leadership and vision. With 3 years until the scheduled departure, Ava's days blurred into nights filled with simulations, design revisions, and coordination meetings with international partners. The habitat prototype had evolved into a marvel of technology and human-centered design, but new obstacles constantly emerged. One early morning, while reviewing data from radiation shielding experiments, Ava noticed unexpected fluctuations in the superconducting coil's performance. The discovery triggered a series of urgent investigations, revealing that the system's stability under long-term operation was uncertain. This revelation threatened to delay the mission and forced Ava to re-examine alternative shielding methods. The setback weighed heavily on her, but she refused to succumb to despair. Instead, Ava convened brainstorming sessions with materials scientists and physicists, encouraging a culture of innovation and resilience. Together, they explored hybrid shielding concepts combining advanced polymers with active electromagnetic fields, pushing the boundaries of current science. Progress was incremental but steady. Amid these technical challenges, Ava's role expanded beyond engineering. She became a diplomat, navigating complex negotiations among space agencies, governments, and private companies. Differing priorities and political tensions required delicate balancing acts and steadfast commitment to the mission's ethical foundations. Ava's ability to communicate her vision clearly and empathetically won allies and built consensus. Meanwhile, the psychological well-being of the future crew gained prominence. Ava collaborated with psychologists to develop training protocols simulating isolation, confinement, and communication delays that would be faced during the journey. She insisted that the habitat's design include spaces for recreation, social interaction, and personal reflection, emphasizing the importance of mental health. During one simulation, crew members reported feelings of loneliness and disorientation despite the advanced environment. Ava took these reports seriously, adjusting habitat configurations and integrating virtual reality tools to connect them with Earth's landscapes and loved ones. Outside the mission, Ava's personal life remained a complex tapestry of support and sacrifice. Clara and Rose stood by her side, offering encouragement but also urging her to find moments of peace and joy. Ava's increasing responsibilities sometimes isolated her from friends and everyday pleasures. She learned the painful lesson that leadership often demanded tough choices but also that vulnerability and connection were vital for sustaining strength. To nurture her inner world, Ava continued to engage in creative pursuits, writing, painting, and music, finding solace and inspiration that recharged her spirit. The media's attention fluctuated, from enthusiastic coverage of breakthroughs to critical scrutiny over costs and risks. Ava embraced transparency, engaging in candid dialogues and fostering public understanding. She believed that an informed and engaged society was essential for the success and sustainability of space exploration. As the launch date approached, preparations intensified. The crew was selected through rigorous processes, including physical fitness, technical expertise, and psychological resilience. Ava played an active role in their training, forming close bonds and mentoring them for the unprecedented mission ahead. The final integration tests of the habitat and spacecraft systems revealed last-minute glitches that demanded swift action and calm under pressure. Ava's leadership shone brightest during these moments, inspiring confidence and teamwork. On the eve of the launch, a solemn ceremony brought together families, scientists, dignitaries, and supporters from around the world. Ava spoke with heartfelt emotion about the courage and dedication required to pursue such a bold endeavor. She reminded everyone that this mission was not only a scientific quest but a testament to humanity's enduring spirit of curiosity and hope. As the rocket roared to life and ascended into the sky, Ava watched with a mixture of pride, anxiety, and awe. The journey to Europa had begun, a voyage into the unknown, fueled by years of hard work, dreams, and sacrifices. Ava gazing at the stars late into the night, her mind alive with possibilities and questions. The mission was a milestone, but also a step in a longer journey toward understanding life, connection, and the boundless horizons that lay beyond Earth. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? The months following the Europa mission launch were a period of intense monitoring, data analysis, and adaptation, as Ava and her team followed the spacecraft's journey across the vast expanse of space. Every signal from the mission was a precious thread connecting Earth to the brave crew venturing toward the unknown. Ava found herself waking in the early hours, eyes glued to screens displaying telemetry, environmental readings, and communication logs. The vast distances meant that messages took hours, sometimes over an entire day, to travel between Earth and the spacecraft, introducing delays that made real-time problem-solving impossible and requiring a level of patience and trust that was both exhilarating and frustrating. In the mission control room, Ava stood at the center of a hive of activity, coordinating with engineers, scientists, and medical staff. Each anomaly or irregularity demanded swift analysis and, when possible, corrective action. One day, a subtle drop in oxygen levels triggered concern. Although within safety margins, Ava pushed her team to investigate and identify the source. It turned out to be a minor leak in one of the air recycling units, likely caused by micrometeoroid impacts, a risk they had anticipated but still dreaded. The team devised a temporary fix, and Ava personally oversaw the adjustments to ensure crew safety. The incident underscored the fragility of human life in such hostile environments and the need for constant vigilance. As the mission progressed, Ava became increasingly aware of the psychological strains on the crew. Extended isolation, confinement, and the relentless silence of space weighed heavily on their minds. The mission's communication protocols had been carefully designed to provide regular updates from Earth, personal messages from loved ones, and virtual reality experiences to simulate Earth's environment. Still, Ava knew this was no substitute for physical presence. She began organizing virtual group sessions, inviting psychologists and counselors to interact with the crew, fostering camaraderie and emotional support. Ava's own emotions oscillated between hope and anxiety. She grappled with the immense responsibility of guiding the mission and the personal longing to be closer to the astronauts she had come to regard as an extended family. Late one night, she confided in Elon during a video call, sharing her fears and hopes. Elon listened intently, offering wisdom from his own experience with high-stakes ventures. He reminded her that uncertainty was inherent in exploration but that courage and resilience made all the difference. "You're not alone," he said simply, words that settled Ava's restless mind. Meanwhile, discoveries began to trickle in. Remote instruments detected intriguing chemical signatures beneath Europa's icy crust, indicators of possible hydrothermal activity and organic compounds that could hint at life's building blocks. The scientific community buzzed with excitement, and Ava felt a profound sense of awe and humility. She reflected on the journey from childhood wonder to this moment of cosmic significance. But the mission was not without setbacks. Technical glitches occasionally disrupted experiments, and the crew faced moments of tension and fatigue. Ava's leadership was tested as she balanced optimism with realism, encouraging the team while preparing contingency plans. One particularly tense episode involved a sudden malfunction in the habitat's power management system during a critical experiment. The crew worked tirelessly to stabilize the situation, and Ava coordinated remotely, guiding repairs and offering moral support. The successful resolution was a testament to the team's training and determination. Throughout this time, Ava's personal relationships remained vital anchors. Clara's unwavering love and Rose's steadfast presence offered solace and grounding. Ava shared moments of joy and vulnerability with them, remembering that even amidst the stars, human connection was essential. As the mission neared its halfway point, Ava initiated a new project, a comprehensive archive of the mission's progress, challenges, and personal stories. She envisioned it as a living testament to human endeavor, inspiring future generations. Collaborating with documentarians, writers, and artists, Ava ensured the archive captured not only data but also the emotions, hopes, and dreams that fueled the voyage. One evening, as Ava reviewed footage of the crew's daily life aboard the Habitat, she felt a surge of pride and love. The young explorers, faced with the unknown, embodied humanity's highest ideals: curiosity, courage, and compassion. The chapter closes with Ava standing on a rooftop under a canopy of stars, contemplating the fragile blue dot of Earth far below and the distant world where her friends journeyed. Her heart swelled with a quiet certainty that through perseverance and love, humanity would continue to reach beyond boundaries, united by the shared quest for knowledge and meaning. As the Europa mission entered its second year, the enormity of the journey's isolation became more palpable for both the crew and those on Earth. Ava felt the weight of the months press on her, each day filled with the steady hum of machines, analysis of data streams, and the emotional undercurrent of waiting. The initial exhilaration had given way to a deeper, more contemplative phase marked by quiet perseverance and subtle discoveries. One of the most profound challenges was maintaining a sense of purpose and connection despite the distance. Ava organized virtual gatherings that bridged continents and time zones, bringing scientists, educators, and the public together to celebrate milestones and discuss findings. She understood that the mission was not only about exploration but about uniting humanity in a shared narrative of hope and discovery. Meanwhile, the crew aboard the Habitat experienced their own transformations. Isolated from Earth's rhythms, they adapted to the unique environment through routines, rituals, and creative outlets. Ava collaborated with psychologists to design activities that nurtured mental health, including group storytelling, art projects, and music sessions conducted via virtual reality. These interventions fostered camaraderie and resilience, easing the psychological burdens of space travel. In the laboratory aboard the Habitat, experiments progressed steadily. New analyses revealed increasing complexity in Europa's ocean chemistry, with organic molecules suggesting the potential for microbial life. The data sparked cautious excitement, the implications were staggering. Ava coordinated with astrobiologists to refine hypotheses and plan follow-up investigations. Yet the mission was not without setbacks. Communication blackouts caused by Jupiter's magnetic interference tested the crew's autonomy and problem-solving skills. During one blackout, a critical system anomaly required manual intervention, a tense moment that highlighted the importance of rigorous training and trust in human judgment. Ava monitored the situation remotely, relying on protocols and the crew's expertise. The incident deepened her appreciation for the unpredictable nature of space exploration and the resilience required to meet it. Back on Earth, Ava's advocacy for STEM education and mental health continued to grow. She launched initiatives aimed at young people worldwide, emphasizing the importance of curiosity, empathy, and perseverance. Through interactive online platforms and partnerships with schools, Ava worked to democratize access to scientific knowledge and inspire the next generation of explorers. Her message resonated globally, bridging cultural and socio-economic divides. Despite her public success, Ava faced moments of introspection and vulnerability. The relentless pace sometimes left her feeling disconnected from the simple joys of life. In these moments, she turned to Clara and Rose for support, finding comfort in their presence and wisdom. Their encouragement reminded Ava that even the most extraordinary journeys required moments of stillness and reflection. As the mission approached its third year, a critical breakthrough emerged. Instruments detected thermal plumes venting from Europa's ocean floor, an indicator of active hydrothermal processes that could create habitable conditions. The scientific community buzzed with anticipation, and Ava felt a renewed surge of purpose. Planning for a potential lander mission to investigate these plumes became a priority. Ava spearheaded discussions on the technological and ethical challenges involved, emphasizing caution and planetary protection. Throughout these developments, Elon remained a steady mentor and friend. Their conversations often explored the philosophical dimensions of discovery, the responsibilities of exploration and the interplay of science and humanity. Elon encouraged Ava to embrace both the technical rigor and the humanistic aspects of her work. One evening, during a quiet call, Ava shared her hopes and fears about the future. Elon reminded her that the greatest innovations often arose from uncertainty and courage. His words bolstered her resolve. The chapter closes with Ava standing before a large window, gazing at the night sky where Jupiter's silhouette loomed. Her heart was full of wonder and determination. She knew the path ahead was uncertain and fraught with challenges, but also rich with possibility. The journey to Europa was not just a mission to another world, it was a journey toward understanding life, connection, and humanity's place in the cosmos. As the Europa mission moved steadily forward, Ava found herself grappling with questions that transcended technology and science, delving deeply into ethics, philosophy, and humanity's responsibility as interplanetary explorers. The discovery of potential hydrothermal activity beneath Europa's icy crust ignited worldwide debate. Could humanity dare to disturb a pristine alien environment? What rights did this distant world possess, if any? Ava, ever the pragmatist and visionary, embraced these dilemmas with openness and humility. She convened a global forum inviting ethicists, scientists, indigenous leaders, and public voices to explore the moral dimensions of space exploration. The discussions were profound and often contentious, reflecting humanity's diverse perspectives and values. Ava listened intently, synthesizing insights into a framework that balanced scientific curiosity with planetary stewardship. Meanwhile, technological innovations continued apace. Ava's team, collaborating with cutting-edge AI developers, refined autonomous robotic explorers designed to drill through Europa's ice and analyze subsurface oceans without contaminating them. The engineering feats required to achieve this delicate balance tested the limits of current capabilities. Ava led daily briefings, translating complex data into actionable strategies and inspiring her multidisciplinary team with her clarity and passion. On a personal level, Ava faced moments of exhaustion and doubt. The relentless pace and magnitude of responsibility weighed heavily. One late night, while reviewing a technical report, she paused to reflect on how far she had come, from a curious child fascinated by the stars to a central figure in one of humanity's most ambitious endeavors. She thought of Clara and Rose, their unwavering support a quiet anchor amid the storm. To sustain herself, Ava recommitted to small rituals. Morning meditation, sketching designs by hand, and spending time outdoors to reconnect with Earth's grounding presence. These moments nurtured her spirit and creativity, reminding her that innovation flourished best when rooted in balance. The public's fascination with the mission persisted, with documentaries, podcasts, and interactive exhibits sharing the unfolding story. Ava participated in many of these efforts, recognizing the importance of transparency and engagement. She received messages from children around the world, inspired by her journey and eager to explore their own passions. These connections reaffirmed Ava's mission beyond science, to kindle hope and curiosity across generations. As plans for the next phase, the lander mission to Europa's ocean vents, advanced, Ava faced technical and ethical challenges anew. The drilling mechanism required precision to avoid disrupting fragile ecosystems, demanding innovations in contamination control and remote operation. Ava's team worked closely with planetary protection experts to develop protocols ensuring minimal impact. Amid these developments, Ava's leadership style evolved. She embraced vulnerability as strength, fostering a culture of open dialogue, shared learning, and collective problem-solving. Her ability to admit uncertainties and listen deeply earned the respect and loyalty of her colleagues. The mission became a living testament to collaboration and humility in the face of the unknown. One pivotal moment arrived when a test drilling simulation encountered unexpected ice hardness, threatening to delay progress. Ava rallied the team, encouraging creative thinking and rapid prototyping. Through perseverance, they developed a novel approach combining ultrasonic vibration and heat-assisted drilling, overcoming the obstacle. The success exemplified the mission's spirit: innovative, adaptive, and relentless. In quieter moments, Ava pondered the broader implications of their work. The search for life on Europa was a quest not only for scientific knowledge but for meaning and connection. What did it mean for humanity if life existed elsewhere? How would it reshape our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe? These questions stirred her deeply, blending wonder with responsibility. Elon remained a trusted sounding board throughout these reflections. Their conversations ranged from technical details to existential philosophy, enriching Ava's perspective. Elon admired her blend of intellect and empathy, believing it was the key to advancing humanity's boldest ventures with wisdom. The chapter closes with Ava standing before a massive screen displaying images of Europa's icy surface, her gaze steady and thoughtful. The mission's challenges were far from over, but so too was its promise. Ava's journey embodied the intersection of discovery and care, courage and reflection, a beacon guiding humanity toward a future where exploration honored both knowledge and conscience. The announcement of the Europa lander mission brought a surge of renewed energy and scrutiny to Ava's life and work. This next phase was arguably more challenging than the initial orbital mission, demanding unprecedented precision, innovation, and ethical consideration. Ava was at the helm, coordinating a vast network of engineers, scientists, policymakers, and ethicists to ensure the mission's success and integrity. The technological hurdles were immense. Designing a lander capable of penetrating Europa's thick, hostile ice shell while preserving the pristine environment required novel solutions. Ava's team focused on developing a two-stage drilling system, incorporating advanced sterilization techniques and autonomous navigation algorithms. Every component underwent rigorous testing under simulated conditions replicating Europa's extreme cold, radiation, and pressure. The process was iterative and painstaking. Ava spent long hours in the lab, reviewing test results and collaborating with specialists in cryogenics, robotics, and astrobiology. Her leadership blended technical expertise with empathetic communication, inspiring the team to persevere despite setbacks. Alongside these technical demands, Ava remained deeply engaged with the ethical framework guiding the mission. The global forum she had convened months earlier continued to provide diverse perspectives, reminding her of the profound responsibility inherent in exploring potentially inhabited worlds. Ava advocated for transparency and inclusivity, ensuring that voices from underrepresented communities and indigenous groups were heard and respected. The lander mission's planning extended beyond Earth's borders into complex negotiations with international space agencies and organizations. Political tensions and differing priorities required Ava to navigate diplomatic waters carefully, balancing collaboration with the need to protect scientific integrity. Her ability to communicate clearly and build trust was crucial. Public interest in the mission surged. Ava was invited to speak at conferences, universities, and media events, sharing the latest developments and reflecting on the mission's broader significance. She embraced these opportunities to connect with diverse audiences, emphasizing themes of curiosity, stewardship, and shared humanity. Ava's personal life, while rich with support from Clara and Rose, faced new pressures. The relentless demands of the mission left little room for rest or leisure, and Ava grappled with maintaining balance. Recognizing the toll, Clara encouraged Ava to schedule regular breaks and practice mindfulness. Ava reluctantly agreed, discovering that these pauses renewed her creativity and resilience. During one particularly intense period, Ava experienced a moment of self-doubt following a critical test failure. The drilling mechanism's sterilization system did not meet contamination standards, forcing a halt in progress and triggering a comprehensive review. The setback was a blow, but Ava refused to be discouraged. She gathered her team, fostering an atmosphere of openness and collective problem-solving. Together, they identified flaws, implemented improvements, and forged ahead with renewed determination. This episode deepened Ava's belief in the value of vulnerability and collaboration. Meanwhile, Elon remained a steadfast mentor and friend. Their regular conversations provided perspective and encouragement. Elon admired Ava's growth, noting how her blend of technical mastery and emotional intelligence set her apart as a leader. One evening, during a call, Elon shared stories from his early days, emphasizing the importance of persistence and embracing failure as a learning tool. Ava felt a profound gratitude for this connection, drawing strength from his wisdom. The lander mission's launch date approached, and preparations reached a crescendo. Ava oversaw final system integrations, crew training for remote operation, and mission control protocols. The global community watched with anticipation, recognizing the mission as a landmark moment in space exploration. On launch day, Ava stood among the crowd at the spaceport, heart pounding with a mixture of pride and apprehension. As the rocket ignited and ascended, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams toward Europa's distant surface, Ava allowed herself a rare moment of quiet reflection. She thought of the young girl who had once gazed at the stars with wonder and the path that had led her here, a journey marked by curiosity, resilience, and an unwavering belief in the power of discovery. The chapter closes with Ava watching the rocket's trail fade into the sky, her gaze steady and hopeful. The lander mission was not just a technological feat but a symbol of humanity's enduring quest to understand its place in the cosmos and the sacred responsibility that came with it. After the launch of the Europa lander, Ava and her team entered a new phase of intense monitoring and problem-solving. The lander's descent through Europa's atmosphere was fraught with risks that had to be managed with extreme precision. Every second was critical, and the slightest miscalculation could jeopardize the mission. Ava sat in mission control, eyes fixed on the telemetry data streaming in real time. The silence in the room was palpable, broken only by the occasional exchange of updates and technical jargon. As the lander approached the icy surface, a sudden anomaly appeared, a deviation in descent trajectory that triggered alarms. Ava's heart raced as engineers scrambled to diagnose and address the issue. Thanks to the lander's autonomous correction systems, it stabilized, and the touchdown was successful, but the close call reminded everyone of the razor-thin margins in space exploration. The crew on Earth erupted in quiet cheers, relief washing over the room. Following touchdown, the lander began its primary mission, drilling through Europa's thick ice crust to reach the subsurface ocean. This task demanded delicate balance. Too much force could damage the instruments or contaminate the environment, too little would stall progress. Ava coordinated with the team, interpreting data and adjusting parameters. Days turned into weeks as the drill advanced centimeter by centimeter, the tension mounting with each passing moment. Throughout this period, Ava maintained open communication with the public, sharing updates and contextualizing challenges. She believed transparency fostered trust and inspired collective investment in the mission's success. Social media platforms buzzed with support, messages from children and adults alike reminding Ava of the broader impact of their work. Unexpectedly, during one of the drilling sessions, instruments detected faint biosignatures, organic molecules consistent with microbial life. The news sent ripples through the scientific community and beyond. Ava was cautious but hopeful, emphasizing the preliminary nature of the findings and the need for rigorous verification. The discovery, if confirmed, would be one of humanity's most profound achievements. As the drilling progressed, the lander's instruments captured images and chemical analyses revealing complex ice formations, unexpected mineral deposits, and signs of dynamic geological activity beneath the surface. These findings suggested a vibrant, evolving world, far from the static image once imagined. Ava's sense of wonder deepened with every data packet received. Yet, alongside excitement, Ava faced difficult decisions. The potential discovery of life raised urgent questions about planetary protection and ethical conduct. Should the mission continue drilling deeper, risking contamination, or pause to reassess protocols? Ava convened emergency meetings with experts, ethicists, and international partners to deliberate. The discussions were intense but underscored the mission's commitment to responsibility. Meanwhile, Ava's personal life was marked by moments of solitude and reflection. The immense pressure of leadership, the magnitude of decisions, and the relentless pace sometimes isolated her. Clara and Rose remained her anchors, offering unwavering support. Ava learned to lean on them more openly, sharing fears and hopes alike. This vulnerability strengthened their bonds and renewed Ava's resolve. Throughout the mission, Elon's presence was a steady source of guidance. Their conversations evolved from technical consultations to profound dialogues about legacy, purpose, and the future of humanity. Elon admired Ava's growth and often reminded her that true innovation required courage to face uncertainty and humility to learn from failure. One evening, Ava stood alone in the mission control room, gazing at the screens displaying Europa's alien landscape. The journey had transformed her, from a prodigy to a leader shaping humanity's cosmic destiny. She felt a deep connection to the explorers who had ventured before and those who would follow. The chapter closes with Ava contemplating the fragile beauty of life, both on Earth and potentially on Europa, her heart filled with hope and a solemn sense of duty to honor and protect that life wherever it might be found. The weeks following the preliminary detection of biosignatures under Europa's ice were a whirlwind of scientific scrutiny and public fascination. Ava found herself at the center of a global spotlight unlike anything she had ever experienced. The delicate balance between cautious optimism and rigorous skepticism was a tightrope she navigated daily. As the lander continued to inch deeper through the ice crust, Ava coordinated with biologists, chemists, and planetary protection experts to design protocols ensuring that any evidence of life would be preserved intact and uncontaminated. The mission's commitment to do no harm echoed in every decision. The media frenzy was relentless. Ava fielded questions ranging from the technical specifics of the drilling process to the philosophical implications of discovering extraterrestrial life. She handled these with poise, emphasizing humanity's responsibility to approach such discoveries with humility and respect. Behind the scenes, Ava's leadership was tested as internal debates intensified about the pace and scope of the mission. Some advocated accelerating the drill to reach the ocean as quickly as possible, while others urged caution, fearing irreversible contamination. Ava fostered an environment where these tensions could be openly discussed, recognizing that robust debate was essential for sound decision-making. During a critical meeting, Ava proposed a compromise: implement enhanced sterilization protocols and deploy a new generation of contamination sensors before proceeding further. The plan was ambitious and required rapid development, but it underscored her dedication to ethical exploration. Concurrently, Ava continued to cultivate public engagement through educational programs and virtual reality experiences that allowed people worldwide to visit Europa's surface and learn about the mission. The enthusiasm from children and educators alike was a powerful reminder of the mission's inspirational impact. On a personal level, Ava struggled with the relentless demands. The intense workload and global scrutiny often left her emotionally drained. Clara and Rose encouraged her to prioritize self-care, reminding her that leadership was not about perfection but about resilience and authenticity. Ava gradually embraced mindfulness practices and brief moments of solitude, finding renewed strength. One night, during a particularly exhausting stretch, Ava received an unexpected message from Elon. His words were simple but profound: "Remember, every great discovery starts with a question and a willingness to face the unknown. Trust yourself." This encouragement rekindled her spirit. The mission's progress was marked by small but significant victories. The enhanced sterilization system passed rigorous tests, and the contamination sensors provided real-time feedback, allowing the team to monitor and mitigate risks effectively. The drill advanced with renewed confidence. Then came a moment that would define the mission and Ava's legacy. As the lander pierced through the final meters of ice, instruments detected what appeared to be microbial life, cells or cell-like structures suspended in Europa's ocean. The data was transmitted to Earth, analyzed repeatedly, and corroborated by multiple independent teams. The scientific world was electrified. Ava was both exhilarated and humbled. The discovery raised profound questions and opportunities for humanity. Ava advocated for careful, deliberate next steps, emphasizing collaboration with international partners and continued ethical oversight. She also underscored the importance of sharing the findings openly with the world. The chapter closes with Ava addressing a global audience, her voice steady and hopeful as she declares, "We are not alone." This discovery changes everything: how we see ourselves, our place in the universe, and our responsibility to life itself. Her words echo across continents, inspiring a new era of exploration and connection. The moment Ava announced the discovery of microbial life beneath Europa's ice, the world seemed to hold its breath. News outlets flooded with coverage, governments convened emergency sessions, and scientists from every corner of the globe weighed in on the implications. Ava found herself navigating a new kind of pressure, not only as a mission leader but as a symbol of humanity's expanded understanding of life itself. The ethical, political, and cultural ripple effects were profound and complex. Immediately after the announcement, Ava was summoned to an emergency meeting with representatives from international space agencies, policymakers, religious leaders, and environmental advocates. The central question: how should humanity proceed in exploring this newfound ecosystem without jeopardizing it? The debates were intense and often polarized. Some factions pushed for aggressive exploration to capitalize on the discovery, while others called for a moratorium, advocating for protective treaties and strict planetary safeguards. Ava listened carefully to all sides, emphasizing the importance of a measured approach grounded in scientific integrity and ethical responsibility. Drawing on her earlier convenings and the global forum she had fostered, Ava proposed the formation of an independent oversight council, composed of diverse voices: scientists, ethicists, indigenous representatives, legal experts, and members of the public. This council would oversee all further exploration activities, ensuring transparency and inclusivity. The proposal was met with cautious optimism and eventually adopted, marking a new chapter in space governance. Meanwhile, Ava's team pressed forward with cautious exploration, deploying new instruments to analyze the ocean environment remotely. The lander transmitted stunning images of Europa's alien seascape, hydrothermal vents glowing faintly, strange mineral formations, and what appeared to be delicate microbial mats. These images captivated the public imagination, sparking a surge in interest in astrobiology and planetary science. Ava took this momentum as an opportunity to advocate for increased investment in STEM education and international scientific collaboration. She launched initiatives to provide resources to underrepresented communities and foster global partnerships, emphasizing that the discovery belonged to all humanity. Amid these professional triumphs, Ava's personal life was a source of grounding and renewal. Clara and Rose continued to be pillars of support, reminding Ava of the importance of balance, connection, and joy. Ava found solace in small rituals, morning walks in the park, quiet conversations over tea, moments of laughter with friends. These simple pleasures renewed her energy and perspective. Elon remained a trusted confidant. Their conversations deepened beyond mission updates into reflections on the meaning of life, the nature of consciousness, and humanity's future among the stars. Elon admired Ava's evolution from prodigy to visionary leader, recognizing in her a kindred spirit dedicated to pushing boundaries with heart and wisdom. The challenges were far from over. Technical obstacles persisted, the harsh radiation environment around Europa, the complexity of sampling without contamination, and the need for long-term sustainable exploration strategies. Ava's leadership was continually tested, requiring adaptability, resilience, and innovative thinking. Yet, each challenge was met with collaborative problem-solving and a shared sense of purpose. One defining moment came when the lander detected an unexpected chemical imbalance near a vent, suggesting a possible biological event or environmental shift. This prompted a rapid response, with Ava coordinating real-time analysis and strategic adjustments. The incident underscored the dynamic and fragile nature of Europa's ecosystem and reinforced the mission's commitment to precaution. The chapter closes with Ava standing before a packed auditorium, addressing an international assembly of scientists, policymakers, and citizens. Her words encapsulate the mission's spirit: "We have glimpsed life beyond Earth, a profound reminder that we are part of a vast and wondrous universe. Let us move forward with humility, courage, and unity, honoring the precious gift of life wherever it is found." The room erupts in applause, a testament to Ava's vision and the shared hope she inspires. Following the monumental announcement and formation of the Oversight Council, Ava's role expanded beyond science and engineering into diplomacy, advocacy, and education on an unprecedented scale. She found herself bridging worlds, not just between Earth and Europa, but between cultures, disciplines, and generations. The weight of this responsibility was immense, but Ava's unwavering commitment to collaboration and transparency guided her every step. The Oversight Council's first major task was to draft a comprehensive planetary protection treaty specific to Europa's ecosystem. This treaty sought to balance scientific inquiry with stringent measures to prevent contamination, setting a global standard for ethical extraterrestrial exploration. Ava chaired many sessions, facilitating dialogue between often divergent viewpoints. Scientists pushed for technological freedom, ethicists urged caution, political representatives demanded national interests be considered, indigenous leaders advocated for respect of all life forms, regardless of origin. Ava's diplomacy skills were tested as she navigated these complexities with grace, patience, and determination. Public engagement was another cornerstone of Ava's expanded mission. She spearheaded a global initiative to democratize space science education, creating multilingual platforms that connected classrooms worldwide with live mission data, interactive simulations, and expert Q&A sessions. This effort inspired a new generation of dreamers and doers, fostering a sense of shared ownership over humanity's cosmic journey. The initiative's success was palpable, reflected in soaring STEM enrollment numbers and a surge in grassroots scientific clubs. Meanwhile, Ava's team continued pushing the technical envelope. Advances in remote sampling technology enabled the lander to collect tiny ocean particles without physical intrusion, further reducing contamination risk. These samples revealed astonishing complexity, microbial communities with unexpected genetic sequences, biochemical pathways unlike anything on Earth. The scientific implications were staggering, promising new insights into life's adaptability and evolution. Despite these breakthroughs, Ava remained grounded by the mission's ethical imperatives. Each discovery was accompanied by sober reflection on humanity's responsibilities and the need for stewardship. The mission's motto, "Explore with Respect," became a rallying cry both within the team and the global community. On a personal front, Ava embraced a more balanced lifestyle. She dedicated regular time to Clara and Rose, savoring moments of normalcy amid extraordinary circumstances. Their shared experiences deepened their bonds and enriched Ava's sense of purpose beyond her professional identity. Occasionally, Ava retreated to quiet nature spots, drawing inspiration from Earth's resilience and diversity. Elon continued to mentor and support Ava, though their interactions became more reflective and philosophical. In one memorable conversation, Elon remarked, "You've shown that true progress isn't just about what we can do, but what we choose to do, and why. That's the essence of leadership." Ava treasured these words, recognizing the truth in them. Challenges persisted. Political tensions occasionally threatened to derail cooperation, and technical glitches tested the team's resolve. However, Ava's inclusive leadership style and transparent communication helped navigate these hurdles. The mission became a beacon of what humanity could achieve when united by curiosity, respect, and shared vision. The chapter culminates with Ava attending a symposium on the future of interplanetary exploration. Surrounded by young scientists and diverse leaders, she reflects on the journey so far and the path ahead. She shares her vision, a future where exploration is guided by wisdom as much as innovation, where humanity embraces its role as caretakers of life, both familiar and unknown. The room listens intently, inspired by her words and the promise they hold. Ava's story, once that of a gifted child with boundless curiosity, had blossomed into a testament of courage, compassion, and the enduring human spirit. As the mission entered its later stages, Ava's attention shifted toward the future, how humanity could sustainably continue exploring not only Europa but the solar system and beyond. The discoveries had opened new frontiers but also illuminated the profound responsibilities that came with cosmic stewardship. Ava championed initiatives to develop frameworks ensuring exploration remained ethical, inclusive, and environmentally conscious across all planetary bodies. She worked closely with international space agencies to design collaborative missions that pooled resources, expertise, and cultural perspectives. This approach fostered unprecedented levels of global cooperation, transcending political and economic divides. One of Ava's proudest achievements was the establishment of the Cosmic Ethics Academy, an interdisciplinary institution dedicated to training the next generation of explorers, scientists, and policymakers in responsible space exploration. The Academy emphasized humility, respect for all life forms, and the integration of diverse worldviews, including indigenous wisdom and philosophical traditions. Ava often lectured there, sharing insights from her own journey, from a curious child to a leader guiding humanity's cosmic future. Meanwhile, scientific exploration continued with new probes designed to study Europa's ocean in greater detail, analyze potential energy sources, and search for signs of more complex organisms. Ava's team collaborated with geneticists and bioengineers to understand how life might adapt in extreme environments, hoping to uncover clues about Earth's own origins and resilience. Despite these advancements, Ava never lost sight of the mission's human element. She frequently engaged with communities worldwide, emphasizing that space exploration was not an isolated endeavor but a shared human story. Through immersive storytelling, virtual exchanges, and educational outreach, she helped people connect with the cosmos on a deeply personal level. Clara and Rose remained central to Ava's life, their unwavering support a source of strength and grounding. Together, they celebrated milestones and navigated challenges, cherishing the balance between ambition and intimacy. Elon's mentorship continued to inspire Ava, often pushing her to think beyond immediate goals toward broader visions of humanity's place in the universe. In a private conversation, Elon remarked, "You've taken the spark of curiosity and turned it into a beacon for all of us. The future is brighter because of what you've done." As the chapter draws to a close, Ava stands beneath a vast night sky, the stars shining brightly above. She reflects on the journey, its trials, triumphs, and the people who shaped it. With hope and determination, she envisions a future where humanity explores the cosmos with wisdom, compassion, and unity. The story's penultimate chapter leaves readers with a profound sense of possibility and the enduring power of human curiosity. The journey that began with a chance meeting between Elon Musk and a 5-year-old prodigy named Ava had culminated in discoveries and decisions that would forever change humanity's view of itself and the cosmos. Now, standing at the threshold of a new era, Ava reflected on the path she had traveled, the childhood filled with wonder and challenge, the years of tireless work, the moments of doubt and triumph. Her story was not just about science or exploration, it was about love, sacrifice, and the indomitable human spirit. As the Europa mission prepared to transition from robotic exploration to the possibility of human presence, Ava faced a profound moment of reckoning. The decisions ahead involved not only technological breakthroughs but ethical imperatives: how to protect a fragile extraterrestrial ecosystem, how to unite humanity behind a common goal, and how to honor the legacy of discovery that had brought them here. In a landmark global summit, Ava addressed leaders, scientists, and citizens from around the world. Her voice was steady, her message clear: we stand on the shoulders of giants, yet our journey has only just begun. The discovery of life beyond Earth compels us to act with humility, responsibility, and unity. Our mission is not just to explore but to protect and to cherish all forms of life. The Assembly responded with overwhelming support, pledging unprecedented cooperation and resources to ensure that exploration would proceed thoughtfully and inclusively. Ava then returned to the Mission Control Center, where the Europa lander had continued its silent vigil beneath the ice. New probes were being developed, designed to venture deeper, powered by cutting-edge AI and sustainable energy systems. Ava's team worked tirelessly to balance innovation with caution, guided by the principles they had forged through years of collaboration. Throughout this period, Ava's personal journey continued to unfold. She found joy in simple moments, sharing a quiet dinner with Clara and Rose, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of gold and pink, reading stories to children inspired by her mission. These reminders of life's beauty and connection fueled her resolve. Elon remained a steadfast presence, his friendship a source of wisdom and encouragement. Reflecting on their journey, Ava realized that their meeting years ago had been a catalyst, not just for technological breakthroughs, but for a new way of thinking about possibility, potential, and partnership. The story's emotional climax came when the first sample from Europa's ocean was carefully analyzed on Earth. The results confirmed the presence of complex organic molecules and microbial life, proving that life's tenacity extended beyond their home planet. The moment was met with awe and celebration worldwide. Ava felt a surge of emotions: joy, gratitude, humility, and a deep sense of responsibility. This discovery would forever alter humanity's self-image and inspire generations to come. Yet, with this triumph came reflection. Ava understood that exploration was not a conquest but a stewardship. She advocated for ongoing dialogue about humanity's role in the cosmos, the need for ethical frameworks, and the importance of nurturing curiosity alongside compassion. The story concluded with Ava gazing up at the night sky, stars twinkling like distant promises. She whispered a silent vow: to honor the mysteries of the universe with open hearts and minds, to embrace the unknown with courage and kindness, and to ensure that the spark of wonder she once held as a child would light the way for all who follow. As the screen fades to black, the final words linger: life is a journey of discovery, not just of the universe around us, but of the boundless potential within ourselves. In every question lies the seed of a new beginning. The tale of Ava, the prodigy who left Elon Musk speechless, becomes a timeless testament to human ingenuity, empathy, and the endless quest to explore what lies beyond. Humanity had embraced the new cosmic perspective Ava's mission had unveiled, yet challenges remained, both in space and on Earth. Ava, now a seasoned leader and visionary, found herself at a crossroads where science, technology, and humanity's collective future intertwined in unexpected ways. The discoveries from Europa had sparked a renaissance in space exploration and biotechnology. Governments and private enterprises raced to develop technologies inspired by the extremophiles thriving in Europa's ocean, organisms capable of surviving harsh radiation, freezing temperatures, and minimal nutrients. Ava spearheaded interdisciplinary projects aimed at harnessing these biological insights to address Earth's pressing issues, including climate change, food scarcity, and disease. However, the integration of extraterrestrial biological knowledge brought ethical debates to the forefront. Questions emerged about bioengineering using alien genes, the potential risks of contamination, and the moral limits of manipulating life itself. Ava took on the role of mediator, bringing together scientists, ethicists, policymakers, and the public to navigate these uncharted waters. She convened the Global Bioethics Forum, an unprecedented platform to create guidelines balancing innovation with responsibility. The forum's discussions were intense and passionate. Some argued that unlocking the secrets of Europa's life forms could revolutionize medicine and agriculture, offering solutions to humanity's most stubborn problems. Others cautioned against unforeseen consequences, stressing the importance of preserving Earth's natural ecosystems and respecting the intrinsic value of all life. Ava's leadership was marked by transparency, humility, and a commitment to inclusive dialogue. She emphasized that exploration was not just about discovery but about wisdom, understanding when to act and when to hold back. On a personal level, Ava embraced a more holistic approach to life. She recognized that her journey was not solely defined by scientific achievement but also by her growth as a person, friend, and mentor. Clara and Rose remained her anchors, their unwavering support and shared experiences enriching her life beyond measure. Ava also began mentoring young scientists and innovators, encouraging them to pursue curiosity with integrity and compassion. One of her mentor, a young woman named Maya, reminded Ava of herself at that age, brilliant, eager, and driven by a deep desire to make a positive difference. Together, they launched a foundation dedicated to empowering underrepresented youth in STEM fields, expanding the mission's legacy into education and social justice. Technological progress continued to accelerate. Inspired by the resilience of Europa's microbes, Ava's team developed new materials and energy systems designed to function in extreme environments. These innovations found applications not only in space missions but also in renewable energy, disaster relief, and environmental restoration on Earth. Ava often marveled at how the cosmos and her home planet were interconnected in ways she had never imagined. Yet, despite these advances, global challenges persisted. Climate change, geopolitical tensions, and social inequalities remained pressing concerns. Ava used her platform to advocate for holistic solutions, emphasizing that the spirit of exploration was inseparable from stewardship and empathy. She participated in international summits, collaborated with grassroots organizations, and leveraged media to amplify messages of hope and responsibility. A pivotal moment arrived when Ava was invited to speak at the United Nations General Assembly. Addressing world leaders and delegates, she shared her vision for a future where humanity thrived not by domination but through harmony with nature and each other. She urged them to invest in sustainable technologies, education, and global cooperation, reminding them that the same curiosity that drove humans to explore distant worlds must now guide efforts to heal their own. The speech resonated deeply, sparking renewed commitments and inspiring a new generation of global citizens. Ava's story became a symbol of possibility, the power of one person's passion to ripple outward and transform the world. The chapter closes with Ava reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. From a curious child who captivated Elon Musk's attention to a global leader shaping humanity's future, she had learned that true greatness was not measured by achievements alone but by the courage to ask difficult questions, the humility to listen, and the compassion to act for the greater good. Looking up at the stars one clear night, Ava smiled, knowing that the adventure was far from over. There were still mysteries to uncover, challenges to face, and new beginnings waiting just beyond the horizon. Ava standing on the balcony of a sleek, modern building in downtown Houston, gazing out at the bustling city below. The sun was setting, casting warm amber hues over the skyline, and for a moment, the chaotic energy of progress seemed to pause in reverence to the quiet beauty of the evening. Ava took a deep breath, savoring the stillness, knowing that her life had become a delicate balance between moments like this and the relentless pace of innovation and responsibility. The world was changing fast, and Ava was at the heart of many of those changes. Years after her historic meeting with Elon Musk, the Prodigy had blossomed into a leader whose influence reached across continents and industries. The legacy of the Europa mission continued to ripple through science, technology, ethics, and culture. Yet Ava understood that true progress wasn't measured only by discoveries or accolades but by the lasting impact on human lives and the planet. That evening, Ava was preparing to deliver a keynote address at the Global Summit on Sustainable Futures, a gathering of scientists, policymakers, activists, and entrepreneurs united by a shared vision. Her topic: the future of exploration, balancing innovation and responsibility. As she reviewed her notes, Ava reflected on how her journey had been shaped by a profound lesson she learned early on: the importance of humility. The universe was vast and mysterious, full of wonders and challenges far beyond any single person's understanding. That humility had grounded her through triumphs and setbacks, reminding her that exploration was as much about listening and learning as it was about discovery. Her speech opened with a question that immediately drew the audience in: what if the next great frontier isn't just out there among the stars, but right here, in how we choose to live together on this planet? From there, Ava wove the story of her life and work, the early spark of curiosity, the pivotal moment when she met Elon Musk, the awe-inspiring discoveries beneath Europa's ice, and the ethical challenges that followed. She emphasized the power of collaboration across borders and disciplines, calling for a new era of exploration that honored both innovation and responsibility. The audience was captivated, not just by her achievements but by the authenticity and passion in her voice. After the keynote, Ava engaged in a panel discussion with fellow leaders in sustainability and space exploration. The conversation turned to the intersection of technology and humanity, how advances in AI, biotechnology, and space science could be harnessed to create a more equitable and resilient future. Ava highlighted examples from her work: new materials inspired by Europa's microbes that could clean polluted waterways, bioengineered crops resistant to climate extremes, and international partnerships breaking down barriers to knowledge and resources. She challenged everyone in the room to think beyond traditional boundaries and embrace creativity, empathy, and long-term thinking. Backstage, Ava was approached by a young girl clutching a notebook. The girl's eyes shone with curiosity and determination. "I want to be like you someday," she said softly. "How did you know you could change the world?" Ava smiled warmly, kneeling to meet her gaze. "I didn't know for sure," she replied. "But I believed that every question mattered, and that listening to others was just as important as sharing your own ideas. You can change the world by staying curious and kind, and never giving up." That moment reminded Ava of herself at 5 years old, wide-eyed and full of wonder, with a heart ready to explore. It was a testament to the enduring power of inspiration and the cycle of mentorship that kept hope alive. Later that night, Ava returned home, the city lights sparkling like stars brought down to earth. She sat quietly with Clara and Rose, sharing stories, laughter, and dreams for the future. They talked about the challenges still ahead, the need for sustainable energy, the fight against inequality, and the mysteries waiting beyond the next horizon. Despite the uncertainties, Ava felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. She knew that the journey was ongoing and that every step forward was a step taken together. The chapter closes with Ava stepping outside once more, looking up at the vast sky stretching infinitely above. The stars twinkled with ancient light, silent witnesses to humanity's hopes and dreams. Ava whispered a final thought to the universe, a vow to continue exploring, not just the cosmos, but the depths of connection, compassion, and courage that define what it means to be human. As the night embraced the city, Ava's story stood as a beacon, lighting the way for all who dare to dream beyond what seems possible. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?